know anything about this. I'm just going to talk for a little while and hope you guys get something out of it. So, what did I say? All right, here's the problem with most approaches to the process, well, most approaches to approach in the first place, to actually walking up and talking to a girl. Most people teach one specific way of doing everything, and that's just how they do it. If anyone knows anything about me at all, I'm not that guy. I'm a severe options person, which is probably one of the reasons why I like lots and lots of options for different ways of doing stuff. It's difficult for me sometimes to tell someone to do specifically one thing, unless it's a specific scenario, and then I would simulate what I would do and just tell them to do that thing. So, but that can be good and bad. The bad thing about having a blanket approach for approaching women is that it only works about 5% of the time. So if you only have one tool set, how many people in here have read another program or read something else about this and got an idea and had one approach and then learned another one, that worked too, and this one too, and they're completely opposed? Like, they don't seem like they are the same thing. You guys have read that before, done that before? I know you've read a lot of stuff, so it's possible. Well, the question then arises, like, well, if one person says theirs is right, another person says that theirs is right, which one's right? And the answer is both, right? So what you have to do is figure out which scenario you should use which version, right? And if you use one blanket approach, it'll work about 5% of the time. So that's not very good. Not very good odds. Instead, you want to get that up to around 80 or 90% using specific techniques, and that's what I'm going to teach you today. So let me just go over what you have to do here for this process. Okay, the first thing you have to do when you go up and when you approach a woman, and we're going to go over lots of different versions of this, and every single thing that I have on here, every single thing to say, everything to do, every situation, every scenario that's different, is going to have these things in common. You're going to have the need in the beginning to open them up and get their attention. That's the first thing you have to do. Like, something's just got to stand out. And that can be, it can be anything, and it's completely situational, because if they're expecting one thing and you do something else, that's what gets their attention. If they're expecting one thing and you do that thing, that doesn't get their attention. Does that make sense? So if you have, if you ask me how do you get a girl's attention, I would go, well, what is she doing, and where is she? Because you don't get a girl's attention at a bar by walking up to her and going, you're really pretty. You get a girl's attention during the daytime, who's sitting reading a book in a park by saying that. She'll be like, oh my God, I didn't expect that at all. Or a guy will walk up and say that. So it's all completely different. The pattern interrupt, the thing that snaps them out of their waking sleep, is what you want to do first. All the things that I teach are going to have that embedded in it. So it'll already be sort of wrapped up in that. Then you want to sort of relieve any objections or fears they might have about what's going to happen right now. As in, they could have a fear that they're going to look like a slut for talking to some random guy they don't know. They could have a fear that you're going to stay there forever and never leave. They could have a fear that you're going to be obsessed and attack them physically or be super aggressive. You have no idea. There are lots of different objections, and women have different objections during different times of day in different scenarios, different situations. So, and they all intrinsically know this. So you have to be able to recognize, forecast those objections, and overcome them ahead of time. Because whenever you get those objections, it's too late. She's already made a decision by that point, and she'll want to leave. And partially it's because we talked about earlier, if you lead the body, the mind will follow. If you lead the mind, the body will follow. Body, mind, body. Yeah. If she starts to wonder in her head whether or not you're going to be staying there forever, or wondering whether or not you're going to be physically aggressive toward her, stuff like that, she's going to start to physically pull away from you. And when she starts to physically pull away, she's going to start to believe she doesn't like you, because her body's going to lead her mind. Like, well, I'm leaning away from this guy, and I'm like, want to get away from him, so she'll get that immediate reaction that she's not attracted. That's not what you want. In some situations, you're going to join groups of people, as in become part of their group, and in some situations, you're going to be sort of just shamelessly flirting and open about it in front of everybody, where it's not really joining a group, you're kind of calling them to join you. we're going to break this up into two major different sections, and they are at nighttime and during the daytime. So this is going to be a few sections here of the day are going to be just focused on, probably several sections are going to be just focused on this process. So we'll be doing this a lot. Excited. So without any more talking about it, I'll just kind of go into it. First, we're going to go into meeting women at night. All right. Like I said, there are a lot of scenarios that we're going to go over here. So as I go through them, this is not in your workbook, so you're going to want to write this stuff down for sure, because you're going to want to use this as a reference, everything that I'm about to tell you here. I'm going to try to do an exercise for as many of these as possible, like a demonstration for as many of these as possible. So you guys are cool with that. I call for some volunteers up here. I'd also like to see, especially for a specific number of these, I'd like to see everyone practice. So I'm going to have someone up here, maybe Kelsey or